What's going on, guys? Nice guy driver. This video is going to be for you guys that will constantly be in people's comments talking about if Uber driving is so bad, go get a regular job. This video is for you. Because I actually did try to do exactly that. I'm sorry, I'm just looking at the crumbs in my back seat. I noticed I didn't clean up. I actually tried. I'll give you the whole story if you got time. If you don't got time, I'm assuming you're gonna click away. But here's the whole story. I was at my last retail job, Bed Bath & Beyond. Before that, I was in the wireless cell phone industry. I'm talking about, I go all the way back to like Nextel days. You know, Nextel, Boost Mobile. I hate when these cars park right here. I can't see nothing. Give me a second, guys. I just don't want to get hit trying to get out of here. Alright. So, I was at Bed Bath & Beyond for 10 years after leaving that whole wireless cell phone industry. In that wireless cell phone industry, by the way, I did 3 years in my own physical retail location. So I'm a real entrepreneur. Like, I had a physical brick and mortar store back in '98, and I only survived until about, I say survived, until about 2001. People locally do remember me. They remember me before I started my own spot. My spot was in Stamford, Connecticut. I survived that. I came out of that. I went in retail, and you guys know how retail is. Nothing exciting. But I survived 10 years in Bed Bath with very, I like to say, disrespectful young people. Most that were younger than me, but had no respect. You know, because I grew up in a time that even if your managers are older than you, younger than you give them a level of respect. And I didn't get that respect at all. Quite the opposite. It was honestly, it was like high school. You know, people talk junk behind your back, and they very rarely said anything to my face. Negative to my face, very rarely. There was a lot of comments being made behind my back about how I don't move fast enough, but I was reliable enough to show up every day, and they didn't mind using me as a workhorse. So I lifted a lot of the heavy things in Bed Bath that the young kids wouldn't. You know, heavy vacuum cleaners and stuff, they left on the top shelf. For whatever reason, those kids are too weak, so they would send me up there. They'll call me slow behind my back, but apparently I was strong enough to go get those heavy vacuum cleaners off the top shelf, you know, with no spotter. It's supposed to be a 2-person job. So I just got tired of it. Just got tired, guys. And I know you're supposed to start your own business before you quit. I kind of did it at the same time. I just started my own business, and I think probably like weeks later, I just quit. I was just tired. But I quit. My business was based on online sales, which were easier back then. When I realized I wasn't going to get the amount of sales that I thought I would, I shifted to driving for Uber and I want to say this is 2017 going into 2018. So it's before the pandemic. Everything's going good. I had a crisis in my personal life. My grandmother died. A lot of people in my family didn't want to pay rent anymore. I had my brother there, my mom. My grandmother was like the matriarch, so once she died, it's like everybody went their separate ways. I was like the finance person, but nobody wanted to give me the finances. Nobody wanted to give me the money. So we kind of went our own separate ways. I started driving for Uber. I believe my brother is still in Waterbury to this day. This was in Waterbury, Connecticut. And my mom is down south. We do get along much better now that she's down south, you know. But this is the brother that I told a story that was like missing for like a long time, and he was there in Waterbury the whole time, just not communicating with anybody. But fast forward, I became an Uber driver, and I kind of, even though I'm a very bad introvert, in real life it's really hard to get to know me in real life, because it's not that I don't necessarily like people. I'm realizing now, it's just I'm shy, and it takes a lot to get through my wall or past my wall. Once you do, I'm the nicest person in the world, as you could probably tell. But people take advantage of that. I've learned that. I wonder what was wrong with me my whole life. People were just taking advantage of my kindness. You know, they took my kindness for weakness. And that I'm kind of changing, because I'm no longer that easy of a pushover. I'm still a nice person with a rough edge, let's just say. I'm not as easy to get over on. And I think Rideshare helped me. Rideshare brought something out of me I didn't even think I had in me. I really didn't. I didn't think I had the ability to communicate with people and actually coach them. I find myself coaching a lot of younger people through their problems. Gained even people in my car to subscribe to my YouTube channel, just being friendly, just based on being friendly. Some are still subscribed to this day, I believe. They probably don't interact with the comments, but they're watching. So I kind of started liking Rideshare, but this is 2018. You got to imagine that we were complaining about the pay then. And the pay was probably, honestly, it felt like 60-40, 60 going to the driver back then. Which you're probably thinking, oh, that's fair. No, they were telling us that they were only taking 20%. See what I'm saying, what Uber does? They worded it and shifted it where somehow they had drivers believing that we were getting 80%, but more likely I think it was like 60. And you can imagine over the years, 2019, it felt more like 50%. Fast forward, I would honestly say I feel like the driver is only getting 30 to 40% of the entire fare. Damn what their bells and whistles say, this part got to go to insurance. I'm talking about customer pays $100. The driver is getting $30 to $40 at best. At best. However they want to spin it. They want to say that the fees got to come out first. That's still a lower cut for us. The customer's paying for the fees. Why are we not getting a bigger cut is where I'm confused. You know, because Uber's like, we got to get our cut regardless. And then they're lying about their insurance costs, their fees, to gain more percentage. They're trying to make it look like they're only taking 20 to 30%. When they're actually taking closer to, I would say, they're up to like 60, 70% in most rides. without surge. When they surge, it's even higher. I really believe that. And then there's speculation that they're stealing tips, skimming off tips here and there. They're definitely skimming time. They're scamming time, for sure. But I got off sidetracked. You see how Uber does this to me. Back to my story. So, the pandemic hit. And somewhere where the pandemic hit, I was having car trouble in 2019. I believe I was in Bridgeport renting a room myself. Ironic, I rent a room now. But I was renting a room to a Puerto Rican lady in Bridgeport, and I was struggling, guys. Thank God the government did help in the form of EIDL grants, loans, and a PPP. So that tied me over going into 2020. Because that was 2019 to 2020. I was there. Some point in 2020, I was having car trouble, and I was like, you know what? Let me just go try to get a job. Let me just try to get a job. I left Bed Bath in 2017, and I just quit Uber because I felt like it was too much wear and tear on my vehicle that I just could not afford to maintain until I got the grant and loan money. And then I was like, the only thing I did wrong was I didn't go buy a vehicle outright, cash. I kept trying to do this hamster wheel. That was the problem. I should have just bought a vehicle cash, and I would have been in a better position. I did buy one car cash, but it was only $6,000, and it only lasted me maybe 6 months. I sold it for like 3. So, but fast forward, I was like, let me go. I'm seeing people in the comments, just go get a job, go get a job, go get a job. I try to get a job, and I realized that the job stunts your growth because you're set on their time, and a lot of times their time would be the best times to drive, because I was trying to do both. I was like, I'm still going to drive a little bit, but I just don't want to wear and tear my car 8 to 10 hours a day. That was my chain of thought. But this the problem with work-life balance. When you got to be on someone else's time, it's an inconvenience. Those times my family needed me and I couldn't be there because I'm at this job that wasn't even giving me full-time hours, but it was the best thing I could get. And it was at a community center with disabled people and stuff. Horrible experience. The pay was too little for what you had to deal with. You had to deal with people that one might molest kids, so you got to watch them. One might be a girl that steals. Another one might be one that gets angered easily, and you got to watch all 3 by yourself, because they're short-staffed because of the pandemic. After there, I tried again and went to a group home. Same situation. Being on someone else's time, it doesn't give you the feeling of work-life balance. And just becoming an Uber driver, I realized at least it gives you the freedom to pick your hours, if nothing else. And I was like, I got to go back to driving. But this time, I was like, I got to go back to driving with a plan to get out. And at the time, I was not even thinking about YouTube helping me do that. YouTube was a hobby. It was a hobby for years. It wasn't until 2021 where I really started thinking, you know what? This could be more than a hobby. This could be more than a hobby. YouTube could actually help me one day, maybe not now, but one day bring in full-time income. And also, like, well, I'm going to run out of topics if I just hate on Uber in every video. What if my journey on the channel could be a Uber driver going into the online space? So I tried that out for a while, but online sales have depleted. And maybe some of you Uber drivers don't know this, but online sales was booming during the pandemic. People are in the house, they're buying online more. It dramatically slowed down, I would say 2022 to now, maybe. So I started shifting the mindset a little bit, and I was like, I know it's a tight-knit community. Uber drivers, drivers in general, it's a tight-knit community. You know, I don't want to just do random Amazon product affiliates because I feel like that's dried and played out. Because one of my mentors suggested that. Just put Amazon links. What if I actually build a Uber channel that actually helps drivers in my state and my community and possibly other places around the world will get inspired, and simply take people along the journey of getting out of regular rideshare and going private, legit. And I don't know anybody. I mean, I've got people that will talk about in courses, but nobody's giving you their real journey of actually going legitimately private. First of all, I don't know anybody in Connecticut that actually went from a rideshare driver to 100% private. I'm not just talking cash rides. I'm talking about legal, LLC, business setup, but taking you along that journey of doing it. Getting the business address, getting the business phone number. These are all things you got to do. Set up where you're prepared to get business credit. You know, nobody's talking about that. All people are talking about is go get my rideshare course on how to go private, but they're not showing you the journey. So I was like, maybe I should be the first person to take people on a journey. Think about that. I'll not only help my community, I'll help Connecticut drivers, and I help inspire drivers in other states. They might just have to get different licenses and so forth, and because I can't wait on these new apps to come to Connecticut. One in particular that I do like is Hum. I know I went off topic, but Hum seems like a good app because it allows you to instantly convert your passenger to a cash ride and still have commercial insurance. Nobody's doing that. Now, Revo, on the other hand, this Revo rideshare sounds like another Trip Rides to me. Which, if you guys don't know my full story, I'm ashamed of it, but I was one of those guys promoting Trip Rides back in the day. And I'm ashamed of it. I really am. I didn't know it was a scam, obviously. But I wanted an easy app that could allow us to make money so bad. I wanted to believe in trips so bad that I promoted them, you know. And everybody's like, it's a scam, it's a scam. But I started thinking, isn't Uber and Lyft a scam too? Think about it. They're stealing drivers' money year after year after year. Isn't that a scam? So we're getting scammed by obvious scams like Trip. Then we're getting scammed by companies that are supposedly legit companies, but they're scamming drivers. The only way we're going to stop getting scammed is to go private, in my opinion. I chose to come to Stop and Shop to sit here and do a video where there's people all around me busy, but so everything's kind of a scam until you actually go legit and just become your own boss. The one thing I do also like about Uber and Lyft is it kind of teaches you how to be a boss. You know, other than the app, you got to pay your own taxes. You got to maintain your own vehicle. You basically are not just an independent contractor, but your own boss. Problem is, your partner is trying to be your boss. The apps are just supposed to be our partners. They're not supposed to be our boss. They're supposed to be like Hum, which really treats you like a partner and allows you the ability to use commercial insurance and take cash from the customer legit. You know, and I found that, would it be so bad to go legit? Because to be honest with you, you're still going to drive Uber and Lyft because you're going to steal their customers. So you're still going to make the same money as you would as an independent contractor. The difference is you could start taking the cash and feel good about it, because now it's not just legal. You can go to places like airports because you have the proper permits. You can go to these airports and go right in where the taxis and limousines go, because technically you're now a limousine. You're now a private taxi service. And then you don't really have to stop, because this could be a transportation company where you're not just relying on rides. Let me move a little bit, guys, so they stop making all this noise around me. So you got to think about the big picture, because you're not just have to focus on doing rides. You could do private deliveries. You could go to a flower shop owner. You could have a minivan with some good AC, you know, and go to a flower shop and be like, I could deliver your stuff for you, because they're short staffed because they don't have any real drivers. Cut a deal with that flower shop where they pay your company directly on a per day, per week, per month basis, and you go out and you negotiate this on behalf of your own company. Here's the beautiful part about that. You don't have to tell them it's your company. You could be like, I work for so-and-so company. This is what we do. You know what I mean? You could tell them you own it, but you don't have to. And it'll give you a level of respect just telling them you work for such and such company. I'm a manager. I'm a general manager. You don't have to be an owner. I'm a general manager, which is true. You know? And get these contracts, and it gives you a level of, you have a boss to answer to, so you can still look like this and get these and close these contracts where they might expect the boss to be in a suit pulling up in a BMW. This is the kind of mindset you have to get out of just thinking, oh, I'm just an Uber driver. You can no longer be just an Uber driver. Now, fast forward, I started thinking out of the box. I started thinking, I got all this room in my apartment. You know, I moved up here with a chick. That went bad. I'm still here. I'm like, I can't afford this rent myself. I don't know if Connecticut don't have a cap on the rents. The rents just keep going. They just keep going up. So I'm like, let me rent out a room. That'll actually help pay down some of this debt. At least half the rent is paid. And I can focus more on maybe doing stuff like doing a car repair or paying a car note. You know, at one point I had 2 bedrooms rented out, but I had to get rid of one guy recently. And thank God the one guy I got, we're like-minded. He has a full-time job and he's a Lyft driver. That's the kind of people I'm looking for, you know. The other guy was basically a bum just trying to make it, and I didn't see that. But fast forward, you see I'm doing stuff like, I'm still doing affiliate marketing online. Things just slowed down. It's ironic, in the online space, my mentor just announced that he's going to become an Uber driver. That's how slow online sales have become. And I actually think it's a smart idea. Some people might look down on him because he's becoming an Uber driver, but you got to understand, we're not just Uber drivers. We know how to make content. That content can turn into more money later. This one video could get millions of views over time, or it might only get a few hundred. The fact is, if I keep going and keep creating content, it could help build my online business that kind of goes with my rideshare business. Because I could be like, tell my passengers, look, go check out my channel. A lot of them go now. A lot of them sign up, subscribe now. And I had one lady actually literally gave me $5 because I told them a sad story. I happen to have my PayPal link in the description. I don't now, but I had it in that particular video, and I got $5. And $5 is not a lot of money, but it's the point. That video was made months ago. Just imagine if I had 500 people that felt the way she did give me $5. Another revenue stream. So we got YouTube as your plan B. You got going private eventually with the money you're making between YouTube and hopefully something online, or you're renting a room, or you're cutting grass, or you're walking dogs. You're doing something extra to have a plan B, because rideshare is not going to be forever. I just posted a video with a thumbnail from Tesla, and yeah, Elon Musk, I don't think it's going to be 2026 like he talking, but it's coming. His Teslas will be fully automated transportation, probably better than the Google Waymos, because Tesla's already, the technology is kind of already ahead. And I don't doubt he's going to pull it off. I don't think it's going to happen this year, even next year, but maybe before 2030, we could be seeing rideshare taking over. Now, if you become a transportation company, guess what that means? You're still in the game. You know how? Your transportation company that now has business credit could go out and go buy one of these, he says $30,000 Teslas, and now you have a automated, because Elon says he's going to allow you to do this, use your vehicles to be automated taxis for other people. What if you have enough corporate and business credit to go buy 3 and no drivers? So instead of taking you out of the game, technology is keeping you in the game because you thought ahead to start your own transportation company. Does that mean you got to go fire the few drivers you got? No. Some people are going to want the preference of having a human driver, especially the elderly. Or they could just do deliveries, or they could just do medical. There's 1,000,001 things you could do in transportation. That's why I'm focusing more on this niche. My finance channels are dying, where I'm talking about finance, AI, holding companies. But somehow the transportation stuff is still doing well because people feel your pain. Drivers feel your pain. We're all struggling. We need to shift and already be planning with all this AI technology. Stop thinking AI is against you. AI is here to help you. By the time those Teslas get on the open market, God willing, I will have the credit and the buying power to just go buy one of those vehicles and put it to work for my company. I'm already thinking ahead. I'm already thinking ahead. And $30,000 is not far from what we're already paying now for regular day-to-day cars. Why not just go purchase one of those? You know, you can still have your gas-powered car for your personal use. Nobody's telling you can't. But just have that as your company vehicles. You can have just one automated car for your company. They may say drives at night. There's a million ways a transportation company can help you in the future. This is why I want to be the guy in Connecticut that's talking about not just Uber, not just Lyft, but talking about alternative ways to get this money. And I need your guys' support. I'm probably going to do a newsletter. I'm going to drop it hopefully this month. And I just need you guys to sign up. It's not going to cost you anything. I just want a massive rush of subscribers to get on board, support the newsletter. So hopefully in the future, we can give you guys some value that way. And grow get another, let's say, future revenue source. But right now it's just going to be free, so everybody that gets in free in the beginning will stay free. You know, I just need your guys' support. And you can also support by subscribing to the channel. A lot of you don't want to do that. Never mind opt in to some newsletter. At least do that. Hit the like button right now, subscribe, hit the bell icon, support the channel. Give me a nice comment now, please. And I will see you guys in the next one. Thank you.